it feels like we're kind of eliminating the ownership of our game. Nintendo Switch 2 game keycard overview. Now, this is something that I've seen people talk about in regards to the Nintendo Switch 2 release and their physical games. Now, if you've noticed and seen photos online, certain games, physical games, will have something that reads along the lines of keycards, right? And that's the keyword, key card. Now, personally, I am somebody who only collects Nintendo physical games. I pretty much ditch PlayStation and Xbox physicals completely. Nintendo is the only real value that I see in collecting physical, because at the end of the day, when you resell physical Nintendo games, they're usually valued a little higher than your average PlayStation or Xbox game. And that is one of the reasons why I mostly only collect physical Switch games. But this is something that I'm reading on the Nintendo support page directly. So this is official word of Nintendo, and I just want to read some of the stuff they have listed online that to me it's a little bit worrisome, because it really feels like these are the first step for Nintendo to switch from your physical media onto completely online based physical media. And it kind of leads me back to why I stopped collecting physical media for the Xbox first. And that was the fact that even if you bought a CD, a physical game of whatever you wanted, you still had to download some sort of update from the Xbox cloud, right? So if you weren't connected to the internet and it was your very first time booting up this game, you weren't allowed to play the game because you needed an internet connection, right? And with Nintendo Switch games, you can load up the cartridge. You know, if you've never been around Wi-Fi ever in your life, you could still play that game, no problem. Now, the problem here with these key cards is that yes, you will have the physical cartridge of the game, but when you boot it up, you need to update the game to be able to play it, or something along those lines, right? And essentially making the physical game your license to play. So it feels like we're kind of eliminating the ownership of our game, right? And I don't know if that makes sense to you, or if you kind of feel the exact same way. And as somebody who actually collects only Nintendo games, this is a little worrisome, right? And here it says Nintendo Switch 2 supports both the regular game cards and game key cards. Some games will use game key cards, while others will continue using regular game cards. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Bad. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. And literally the first two sentences here just basically tells you like, hey, this is just a license for you to play the game. You don't actually own the game, which is, it's crazy to me, right? Because we're paying a higher price for these physical games that at one point, someday, we might not even own. And I guess this is a sort of argument when you're paying for games through the online service and you're downloading them directly. And there has been instances where you've bought a game on Xbox, and because of whatever reason, maybe they don't have the license for that game anymore. They've had to remove that game entirely from their library, and essentially they have to refund you that money. And what does that mean? It means that whatever you paid to own that game, even if it's digitally, you no longer own it, or you really never owned it in the first place. And essentially what Nintendo is doing here, they're doing the exact same thing that Xbox and PlayStation are doing. And that's why I don't collect Xbox or PlayStation anymore. And that was one of the reasons why I only collected Nintendo games. Now, let me continue reading here. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card, aka your license, into your system and starting it up like the standard physical game card. Now, in my opinion, I would want these games to be like $10, $20 tops, right? Because we're just paying for a license to play. At any time, Nintendo can just revoke this sort of game key card or license, whatever you want to call it, and no longer allow you to play that game that you purchased. You can't sell it either because the game keycard no longer works, right? So in exchange, you're giving the company $50, $60, $80, however much. And if that game keycard no longer works, you gave them $80 and you have now nothing. You think Best Buy is going to refund you the money for that game keycard? So in the bottom of the page, it tells you how it works, how to, input the cart. We all know how to, I think most of us know how to place the cart into the system itself. Now here it says the game itself isn't included on the game keycard, so you have to download it before you play. So what is the point of me actually buying the physical edition of the game if I need to download it from the cloud either way? The whole point of a portable system is for you to be able to put in your cart and play on the go without the need or the hassle of having a Wi-Fi connectivity. Okay. Now here it says that once the game is downloaded, you're ready to play. An internet connection is only required when you launch the game for the first time. After this, the game can be started even without an internet connection. However, like regular physical software, the game keycard must be inserted into the system in order to play the game. What is the point here? What is the point, right? Why are you selling us a license of a physical game at most likely what is going to be full price, or even if it's half price of that? It just doesn't make sense, right? I feel like Nintendo continues to deliver this half-ass quality of product, and they are literally taking arm and limb, right? And to be fair, Xbox or like PlayStation, they do the exact same thing, right? They sell us these games on digital service. They charge us a ton of money for them. And at the end of the day, it's just a license. We don't even own our digital game. If they decided to pretty much scratch the entire library of digital games, we'd be out of money, or maybe they'll, refund the money, but I doubt that. I don't know how that would even work, right? So Nintendo's selling. And we know the track record for Nintendo. They're not going to sell us cheap games. When they have ever sold us cheap games? If you want to go buy Mario Odyssey right now, brand new, it's going to cost you $50, $60, which is the exact same price it was 10 years ago. Like, bro, that doesn't make sense to me. And I already had some issues with the price point of the Switch 2, the lack of an OLED screen in 2025, and going from the OLED model to a non-OLED model is already kind of a kick in the face for $450, almost $500 with tax. And now I'm seeing this, right? It's starting to become really hard to be a Nintendo fan in 2025. I'm not excusing them for the price point of the Switch 2. I am part of the problem, so let's get that straight here. But this is ridiculous. We can't even own our games anymore. Can we own anything in this life? It's not just games, it's everything, right? Anyways, that's it for me today. Hope you guys have a great day. We are counting down the days for the Switch 2 release. Good and bad. I'm excited. Are you excited? If not, that's okay. Let me know in the comments down below. We're going to be talking about the Switch 2 for the next month or so. But love you. Take care. Be safe. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.